I believe we all seek to be understood, to be seen as human beings trying to make some sort of connection in this fleeting life. Art, in all forms, allow us this opportunity, whether it is through creating it or through ownership of works that grant us permission to express ourselves. The great playwright William Shakespeare said it best: all the world is stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and so it is with art. Those who seek to understand it and those who were born to create it, we all have our roles to play. When it comes to roles in the world of art, Edgar Degas has taken us on a hauntingly beautiful adventure. In particular, his piece entitled Waiting has been at the pinnacle of my most treasured favorites. Degas, a French impressionist known for his ballerinas, among other works, was in our world from 1834 to 1917. It is believed that this artwork was completed between the years of 1879 to 1882, using pastels on beige laid paper. The image is of two women sitting on the same bench, one a ballerina and one an older appearing woman dressed in all black with a matching hat and umbrella. Ballerina, beautifully dressed, is bent over touching her ankle with a curved back, while the other woman is leaning forward onto her umbrella with a straight back. This scene takes place backstage at the Paris Opera, both women resting their elbows on their knees and thighs. One source states, Degas, as no artist before or since, took a keen interest in the physical routine of ballet dancers' lives, the labor behind their art. Similarly, I too have done some research a few years back and found that it is unknown if the two women actually knew each other. In fact, art critics have long theorized and fantasized stories regarding the relationship and situations of the two figures. However, one thing is definitely clear: both women are waiting for something, hence the name of the piece. This artwork is shared by both the Norton Simon Museum in Pasadena and the J. Paul Getty Museum in Los Angeles. For years now, I have followed it back and forth between the two museums when it is on display. I was even gifted a beautifully framed print of it that rests on my wall. However, it is nothing compared to the captivating original. Standing in front of it, you can almost feel the heaviness of the two figures. One source states, only their shared sense of exhaustion and anxiety is clear. Edgar Degas was skilled in using negative space. Here he kept his subjects at the top right corner of the piece. One source suggested that this might have been an indication of their boredom while they waited. The lines on the floor, along with the bench the two women are sitting on, seem to be moving in a diagonal direction toward the upper right corner as well. This detail makes the room feel smaller, as if the artist is showing us a secret window into their pressure-tight worlds, a sort of speakeasy where only we know the password. It is my belief that he also did this as a way to show the viewer how very vast the woman's concerns feel to them in this moment. You can see this in the lighter colored, more chaotic brushstrokes on the floor, either made by the dancer's shoes or, more importantly, to show the mental states of both women. Speaking about color choices, Degas uses light hues on the ballerina, drawing your attention to her vibrance and youth, while in direct contrast he used very dark colors with the other woman and her surroundings. Few things come to mind regarding the two figures and how they are presented. I feel that the second woman dressed in black possibly represents not only exhaustion, as the earlier source stated, but a kind of hopelessness, disappointment, or mourning, as indicated by her dark clothes and demeanor, a disassociation of sorts. Could be that she is at the end of her life or career, with the willpower to dream vanishing into nothingness. We come into this life as the ballerina, and we leave as the woman in black. Maybe this is what Degas was trying to tell us when he purposely drew the lines in a diagonal direction. It is as if he is saying to us, she is youth and vibrance now, but she will finish wise and accomplished later, even when she cannot perform any longer and the world discards her. I only hope this is true. I feel I am both women at different times in my life. Sometimes I play the role of the vibrant, hopeful ballerina. Other days I am the grieving, wise, realistic. Another artist that demonstrates this type of haunting message in one of his pieces is Edward Harper, an American who lived in our world from 1882 to 1967. His painting entitled Automat was done in the style of New Realism in 1927 and can be viewed today at the Des Moines Art Center. It is beautifully colorful yet displays a feeling of isolation, painted using oil on canvas. One source states, the realist painter's brand of Americanism was a counterpoint to the country's optimism. The 1920s found our country to have a great many disturbances. However, in toxic positivity's fashion, the powers that be told us to just put some fresh lipstick on and everything would be okay. Needless to say, Hopper chose not to turn a blind eye with his work. Similar to the Degas piece, Hopper's work also displays a woman sitting with a downward gaze. However, this woman is placed in an automat, which is a type of cafeteria lined with vending machines. It is night as she sits alone, with a single cup of coffee in her ungloved hand, dressed in a green coat and brown hat. Like Degas' Waiting, Hopper used the negative space to tell this story, pulling the character towards the right side of the painting, a way to emphasize isolation. He does this also by showing the rows of lights above her, almost leading up to her as if to say, all roads lead to isolated disappointment, no matter what you do. As the story goes, the model for this painting was the artist's wife, Jo, but this is where the likeness stops. Hopper did make some changes to the woman's appearance in his painting, as his own wife was 44 years old at the time and described as curvy. It is said that he actually slimmed the woman down, making her face smaller and younger looking. Little is known about the character situation in this painting that Hopper created, very much like the woman in the Degas piece. Another similarity is the tone of the painting. One source regarding Hopper states, his works depict urban loneliness, disappointment, even despair. This is likened to our woman in black waiting on her bench. The automat, it is important to recognize that she sits at the bottom half of the painting, usually indicating a sort of lowly place in life, as in class or stature. However, in direct contrast, she is nicely dressed in bold colors with makeup on. It is my belief that the artist did this to make the viewer feel the vast emptiness of the room, making her appear smaller, as if she herself feels small and isolated in this great world. The tabletop is painted in one of the lighter hues, making it a focal point with the woman, heavy in spirit, leaning on it. She only has one glove off, which grips the cup, as if too exhausted to keep up appearances and remove the other glove. Notice the shadow of the radiator to the left of the room. It is a sharp triangle, pointing directly at the isolated woman. Hopper could not have been more clear. Even with her perfect makeup and wardrobe, she cannot dress up the ugly isolation and hopelessness she feels inside. In what seems to be a calmer piece, the message can almost be heard screaming. We all have a role to play in this one and only life. Some are the observers and some are the creators, ripping us from the fabric of our egocentric fantasies. Beautifully crafted pieces like these remind us that while we might be alone, we do not have to be lonely. Someone has already been there, while others still await the growth it brings. It is a message that reaches beyond culture, religion, sex, age, gender, and race. Just a short list of the ever-growing complexities that add to our intersectionality. We live on a floating world somewhere between reality and fantasy, perfecting our practices of this role-playing life. All the world is stage, and I am no exception.